Welcome to the January 25th, 2017 Board of Trustees meeting. Today's meeting, we will have a moment of silence, and we would like to honor in memory of David Upchurch, who was the first principal of Rapid Run Junior High. David left behind two daughters, Kirsten Rogers and Rin Upchurch. He also was a retired administrator of the Oak Hill School District. So we're sorry for his family's loss. And then we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that our interim administrator is out this evening, so we have an interim administrator, Chief Jim Howarth. So thank you for being here. Okay, motions for consideration, Mr. Luby.
Motion 2017-19, approve the minutes from the Special Board of Trustees meeting held on January 4th, 2017, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2017-019, approving the minutes from the Special Board of Trustees meeting January 4th, 2017.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion 2017-20, approve the minutes from the Special Board of Trustees meeting held on January 5th, 2017, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2017-020, approving the minutes from the Special Board of Trustees meeting held on January the 5th, 2017.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2017-21, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on January 11th, 2017, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2017-021, approving the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting held on January the 11th, 2017.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion 2017-22, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2017-022, approving bills for payment.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion 2017-23, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending January 17th, 2017.
I move motion 2017-023, approving the payment of overtime for pay period ending January 17th, 2017.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2017-24, authorize the police chief to execute the contract, addendum, and notice of commencement with Sullivan Custom Builders, LLC for public improvements to be completed at the police headquarters named the Delhi Township Headquarters Entry Renovation Project.
I move motion 2017-024, authorizing the police chief to execute the contract, addendum, and notice of commencement with Sullivan Custom Builders, LLC.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion 2017-25, approve a proclamation and declaring January 26, 2017 as Bailey Assisted Living Memory Support Facility Dedication Day in Delhi Township.
I move motion 2017-025, approving a proclamation and declaring that January 26, 2017 is Bailey Assisted Living Memory Support Facility Dedication Day.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion carried. I do want to mention here that the trustees will be in Columbus tomorrow and Friday for the Ohio Township Administration Convention. So Mr. DeLong will be there representing us at that event. Okay, Mr. Luby, thank you.
Motion 2017-26, accept the voluntary resignation of Peter Feitner III from the Financial Advisory Board effective January 10th, 2017.
I move motion 2017-026, accepting the voluntary resignation of Peter Feitner III from the Financial Advisory Board effective January the 10th, 2017.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to have the presentation. Pete, if you can come up, please.
We have to pass it. We have to pass that first.
Didn't we pass it?
No, we did the resignation. We got to do a certificate of appreciation.
Award to Peter.
We did the resignation.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm ahead of myself. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Luby.
Motion 2017-27, awarding a certificate of appreciation to Peter Feitner III for his years of service on the Financial Advisory Board.
I move motion 2017-027, awarding a certificate of appreciation to Peter Feitner III for his years of service on the Financial Advisory Board.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now Mr. Feichner. President training is way too much.
I just thought you were anxious to get rid of me.
We were. Certificate of appreciation to Peter Feichner III, Delhi Township Financial Advisory Board, 2012 to 2016. Presented to Mr. Peter Feichner III for his dedication and outstanding service to Delhi Township as a member of the Delhi Township Financial Advisory Board, with sincere appreciation and gratitude for volunteering your time and expertise while assisting with the budget planning and review process. It's signed by all the trustees and fiscal officer. So we are going to miss you.
First off, I'm not going to keep it short, because if I did, you all be disappointed in me. I do want to thank all of the trustees, both those present and those who were here in the past, that had the confidence and support to nominate me for these past several years to serve on the Financial Advisory Board. I hope that I did the trustees and Delhi Township a true service in my membership on the board. I would also like to take a few minutes to thank the many department heads that I worked with over the years. Specifically, as many people may not know, the FAB board has 5 to 7 members. We have either 2 or 3 members that work with specific departments. The departments that I worked with over the years were roads, parks, and police. And working directly with those departments, you review their budgets in detail, their forecasts, and you spend a lot of time with the department heads. The cooperation that I received and the excellence of the reports that were turned in by all the department heads I directly work with were outstanding. And I do want to thank all of them, Jim Haworth and Jeff Braun, and also, I don't know if anybody else Josh is here. And I also spent a lot of time with Ron Rippinger, and I do want to thank all of you for the ability once again to serve Delhi Township. I do want to end this on sort of an upbeat note, that while I have resigned, or actually I don't want to use the word, I retired from the Financial Advisory Board, I am not retiring from Delhi Township. I've lived here for 44 years, and I plan on spending a lot more years here. And I also plan on coming to a lot of the trustee meetings. So we'll see you all then, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Seavey, any comments?
Just congratulations and thank you to Pete, because, as fiscal officer, we did a little work there together as well. And I just want to say thank you so very much for your service. Sad to see you go.
Trustee Oswald?
I just want to thank you for your service. I know you're always attentive and watching us how we're moving money around, but you certainly helped out a lot because you serve the function of the Financial Advisory Board to keep our department heads in check. There's checks and balances there, so you certainly did that, and we appreciate it.
And I'd also like to say thank you. Having served on that committee, I know many hours go into in the dedication, and you always had very insightful questions and comments. So again, thank you. You will be missed. So thank you very much. All right, presentations. The first one, we have the 2016 Christmas Parade winners. Travis Kurd, president of the Delhi Business Association, is here to make the presentations.
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for coming. This has been a crazy year for myself, especially taking over here now in 2017 the Delhi Business Association, and then also being chairman of the Christmas Parade. First, before we get into the awards, I want to thank everyone who participated in the Christmas Parade. I can't tell you, the township really enjoys the parade, and being 26 years now, and hopefully keep that going and add several more decades to this parade. Also want to thank the township the trustees, the police department, and all of the businesses in Delhi. Without their support, we couldn't have this parade. So definitely want to thank all of you, the township, parks, police department, everybody involved. So when I took over in 2017, there were some changes where they were actually going to stop the awards. With Russ Brosey and Bob Schaefer, we were able to keep the awards going forward. With that being said, though, in the past they've done trophies. What we are doing now is preparing certificates for each winner of the parade, and we will be sending those out to you shortly. So that way you can have them on display at either your business, your school, or organization. So to get the awards started, I first want to bring up the best band, which is Western Hills High School Marching Band. Come on up.
Good, there they are.
The awards for all the participants who won is a $50 gift card to Rimke Bays, who is the largest sponsor of the Christmas parade. So also a thanks to Rimke for providing these awards.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I say
Nice
one
work.
thing?
Sure,
Please.
go ahead.
I am the band director. My name is Kent Stein. I'm the current band director at Western Hills High School. My colleague, Rich Nodder, is the director at Dater High School. We share a campus and we share the band students together. We're a growing program. And I have to put in a plug. Our winter concert is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at West High, and it's free. So please come on out and share your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now for Best Walking Unit, Revere Dance Studio. You guys want to say anything? All right, next is the best Christmas theme, our own Delhi Historical Society.
Okay.
All right, what do you guys want?
She's our chairperson.
Okay.
You want to say something? You want to talk at the microphone? Yes, okay. Hi, on behalf of the Delhi Historical Society, it's always a pleasure to be in the parade every year. To me, it's the highlight of the year. And with my, co-members, Lenny, Sue, and Mary, we couldn't do it without you. We do have one girl that is not present tonight. Her name is Katie. But, we look forward to more parades and awards and and we all enjoy it very much. So thank you.
Well, you look wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Abe.
Thank you, Abe.
All right, next is Best Car, and that would go to Riverview Delhi Kiwanis. And tonight, accepting that will be President and member Will Oswald. All right, the most unique entry will be the Syrian Shrine Mini Racers.
Oh, yeah. They hear, yeah. Thank you.
Can I say it? Sure.
Please.
My name's Mike Miles. I've been a lifetime resident of the West Side between Bridgetown and Delhi. Being just an associate of the Mini Racers, which is only one of the many motorized units in the Shrine. And I think everyone knows what the Shriners stand for. We have 22 hospitals, which 20 is in the United States. There's one in Canada and one in Mexico. Most people know historically Shriners Burns Institute, which is now Shriners Hospital for Children. They specialize in burns, cleft lip, cleft palate, and recently have gone into the area of facial reconstruction. Our presence is not for an award, not competitions. We just want to get out there to Shriners and what we stand for. Hopefully, next year, or 2017, this year, we're going to get the whole shrine into the parade. We don't want just one unit. We want all the units, because everybody knows the clowns and the band and everything, but we want to get all the units in.
That's great.
Thank you.
Love to have them.
And I think the township would really appreciate that, so we're excited. And I will be again chairing the Christmas parade, so all of you, I look forward to seeing you again. Next will be the best sound, the Mount St. Joseph University steel drums.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, just real quick. I really appreciate it. It's an opportunity for the Mountain Music Department to get out and be seen in the community. We started the steel band 2 years ago. Jamie's one of my students there. About 2 years ago or so, and it's just really nice to, we actually put it on a trailer and ran it down the road. It was a lot of fun, but come out. We have a concert on Mardi Gras, which is the day before Ash Wednesday, that night, 7 o'clock. So shameless plug too. So thank you all.
Great.
All right, and the last award will be for the best scout troop group, and that goes to the C.O. Harrison Cub Scout Pack 300. Congratulations. Would you like to say something? Thank you.
Great.
And that is all I have. I appreciate all of you coming out again. It means a lot, and I really hope to keep this going and continuing this tradition. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. Yeah, thank you to all the participants. We really appreciate it, and we're one of the few Christmas parades on the west side of town. For those of you who received an award, if you'd like to leave at this time, we're going to continue with the meeting. There's no need for you to sit here unless you want to stay, but by all means, thank you for being here tonight.
We didn't win.
No, we didn't. We'll do better next year. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll continue on with our presentations. Tonight we have door-to-door solicitation. Dave Lane, our law director.
I'd like to just share some information and maybe some recommendations on our door-to-door solicitation resolution. It's called a transient vendor resolution, but shortly after our last meeting, I received a lengthy letter from a law firm out of Texas. They represent a company that does business actually nationally, but in the greater Cincinnati area, and does it principally by door-to-door sales solicitation. They also shared with me a 25-page brief that they filed in another lawsuit that they're threatening if we can't bring our resolution into what they believe is constitutional limits. Essentially, they're maintaining that our transient vendor regulations are unconstitutional, and they violate the First Amendment, or their clients' rights under the First Amendment. Our resolution restricts door-to-door solicitation now between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. all year round. This is not a new topic. It's becoming a hot topic, but it's really not a new topic. How long have we been going through this, Jim? You know, we've talked about it many times. We've revised it any number of times, but just a little perspective, if it makes you feel any better. Liberty Township got a letter from the same law firm for the same customer, or client of theirs, same business, about 6 months ago. Their trustees chose to ignore it. Their trustees were sued in federal court. Quickly, they changed their resolution to basically to allow solicitation during daylight hours. Our resolution currently does not allow that because it ends at 6 p.m. As I mentioned, you know, it's becoming a hot topic, but not a new one. Anderson Township, like us, has had a resolution or had a resolution for many years. I don't recall exactly, 3 or 4 years ago though, Anderson Township repealed theirs. They have no resolution in Anderson now. The reason their law director advised their board that basically it was unconstitutional and unenforceable, and they repealed it. I have had discussions with this law firm. Essentially, they want the same thing they achieved with Liberty Township, and that is to be able to solicit during daylight hours. They will respect the rationale behind limiting it to non-daylight hours. So essentially, the proposal that we discussed and they're willing to accept. And before I go into that, I want you to understand too, they represent one business here. At least at this time, this issue is being brought up on behalf of one business. So no matter what we do, tomorrow somebody else could come in and not be happy with our resolution and potentially challenge it for legitimate reasons. I think these are the hot issues, the time. Jim, anybody really bulk a lot at the registration process or anything? So it's the time, right? So the proposal would be to amend our resolution to allow door-to-door solicitation during daylight hours. So between May 1 to September 30, the hours would be 9 to 9, and from October 1 to April 30, 9 to 6. Again, pretty much when it's light out, and the homeowners are not going to be as uncomfortable, somebody knocking on their door when it's dark. And I appreciate it because I don't really like in the middle of the winter when somebody knocks on my door at 8 o'clock at night because I don't know who it is. It's my recommendation that we amend our resolution for that reason. Yes, because we just got a demand, but two, case law and your substantial case law that would support that position. I did discuss it with Jim. I don't know if you want to comment on it at all, Jim, but
No, we've discussed it a lot in the past. It's been a hot topic, and Liberty Township's not the only township. There's others up north in Ohio and so forth. So really the letter didn't surprise me and probably didn't surprise Dave either that it was coming. It's kind of the way they found a loophole to get around things. So, I agree with it and with what Dave's proposing personally. I think the resolution's still good, the solicitors. They still have to check in with us. They pay the fee. We can still know who's out there, give them a letter, and we can always revoke it if they're hassle, if they're causing problems in the neighborhoods or what you have. So, I'm in support of it.
One last thing. While we are restricted as a local government or a governmental entity from infringing upon constitutional rights, the homeowners aren't. So if they don't want door-to-door solicitation, they can put up a no solicitation sign. So
That's what I was going to.
That's the easy solution. So it's easy for the homeowner. It's very difficult and precarious for your board to restrict. So if your board is in agreement with that, I will amend our resolution and prepare a resolution for your board at the next meeting.
Trustee Seavey, questions?
Yes, when a vendor comes to you, Jim, and you approve them for solicitation in the township, do they receive some type of permit or something that they have to present to the homeowner? I mean, if someone knocks on my door, can I say, where is your permit?
Correct. They will have a letter from our department showing that they registered with us, with the
Okay,
permit
and-
number.
On an annual basis, how many people actually submit a request to do this? Just a guesstimate,
15,
15,
but probably 40 maybe out there that try to get away without the registration.
without the registration. Okay.
We might have had a dozen sign up last year. I'd have
Okay.
to look to confirm, but.
Mr.
not
Lane, thank you very much for protecting us and noting that Liberty Township ended up being sued. I think that we owe you a debt of congratulations and thank you for attempting to protect us from this.
Trustee
I
Oswald?
like when our board gets sued, so.
Yeah, no, we don't either.
Yeah.
You said the law firm wants or is requesting sun up to sundown. Is that's what they're requesting? Then you gave time frames. Why not just go from sun up to sundown? I mean, you look at an almanac, you know the exact time.
We talked about that. I think it's a lot harder to enforce. It's a lot, I mean, you and I can be standing there unless we get our almanac out or fire up our cell phone. It's 9 o'clock or it's not. I think the other one is a little arbitrary. That was suggested in the correspondence.
Because I guess my thought is, you said we're dealing with this one company, okay? You propose those hours and times to them. They say, yeah, we're fine. The next one comes along and says, we want sun up, sun down, and we're in the same position. And because if the sun sets at 6:21 and you limit it to 6 o'clock, now we got to go back and amend it again, where the sun up, sun down is never going to change. It's never in dispute. If it sunsets at 6:21, someone shows up 6:22, you know they're out of time. If we set at 6 o'clock and someone wants to solicit at 6:20, we're in the same position, we're going to get another lawsuit. So I guess my thought is, I mean, those are easily definable times when sun up and sun down versus putting ourselves in the same
Sun up,
position.
I don't really want somebody knocking on my door at 7 in the morning.
Well,
either.
right.
Exactly.
But again, I mean,
Sun up.
I read the briefs and I read the law they said, and the law's on their side.
It is.
I mean, that's the problem.
It is, but I think what's happening here, and the reason that 9 to 6 or 9 to 9 works for them is they're sort of business hours anyway. A lot of times they have college kids that do it part-time in the summer. So they were really comfortable with that. I honestly don't think we're going to get a lot of blowback on a 9 to 9 or 9 to 6 for those times.
I'm just thinking you get that attorney that wants to file a constitutional violation and then statutory attorney's fees because they found a loophole of 20 minutes that we put between the time and the sun up, sun down. That's my only fear, and there's enough out there that could potentially come. Now, we could amend it again. What you're saying is let's put these times in place. We can always amend it later. But if someone wants to hit a township for deep pockets on a constitutional violation, they could be entitled to attorney's fees. And I guess what I'm saying is to eliminate that whole thing, you just go sun up, sun down.
Well, maybe, but that may not be the only challenge.
Right.
There can be other challenges other than the hourly one. It's up to your board what you want to do.
What did Liberty do?
They did the defined hours.
Defined hours.
And those are the terms that I discussed and worked out something with this law firm.
So this would appease them at this point until the next one.
I mean, I brought up that possibility that, this was for this client, but I really think that if we expand the hours, this isn't new. We've had this resolution in place for, at least 10 years. I don't remember when the first one The '07 was a substantial rewrite of it, but
It's way before.
yeah, it's probably way. And other than some rumblings and grumblings, we really haven't had a serious threat. Now, that's not to say that, obviously, we're talking about it because we're concerned. We're having this dialogue because your board's not taking a position of let them sue us, because Will's right, they will. I think we'll hear from somebody before they just run out and sue us. And if they just run out and sue us and immediately we change it, you know, I don't think they're going to have much of a case, and I don't think you're going to have much of the statutory damages there.
Has this company ever submitted for a permit before from Delhi Township?
I suspect they've been here. I don't know. It's Aptiv
Jim?
is who the company
I don't
is.
believe so. But they could be going under a different name. It's active.
could be,
but
yeah.
There's a bug company and stuff like that, so it could be under another name. I don't know it.
Okay.
Okay, do we take a vote tonight on this? No.
I just
No.
need some direction. If you want me to prepare that resolution, I will for your next meeting. And that gives me 2 days. I'll be inside their 30-day demand within 2 days, because I don't want to let that pass.
Right.
Because Will's right. This company or this law firm will sue.
They've done it before.
They will. Yeah.
So you're saying by the next meeting, we'll still be within the 30 days notice?
Well,
Okay.
Why don't you prepare the resolution to get rid of this company? I mean, basically, we'll punt. Worst case scenario, if someone else comes along and sues us, like Anderson did, the safest thing is to repeal it. Now, I know the residents would be upset with that because they want registration, but ultimately, if someone's just going to fire off a lawsuit and not give us warning, we repeal it, and then we can go back and revisit it, and then we're still protected. And like you said, we limit any statutory damages. So I would say go ahead and do the resolution. The other trustees can speak for themselves.
Let's
Write the
protect ourselves.
resolution.
Yeah, for the next time. Thank you for all your work and coordinating on our behalf, negotiating on our behalf. Thank you so much. Okay, trustee correspondence.
Just a repeat of a congratulations to Pete Feitner. I'm good.
Trustee Oswald?
Congratulations, Pete Feitner, and all the winners in the Delhi Parade.
And same for me. I do want to address an issue that's, again, still kind of brewing out there, is our recycling program. It's still a problem. We have 3 collections a week. We still have township personnel compacting it twice during the week. We know people from outside of Delhi are putting their recycling in there. This is a Delhi privilege. This is on our property. We know they're making it a trash dump. We know there's been mattresses and other sundry things that aren't there. It is not a dump. It is for recycling. It's very specific on the dumpsters, what we take, what we don't take. So, I mean, that's all we can do is keep letting everybody know that it is not a dump. It is for Delhi people, and we would hope you would respect and honor that. Any comments, Trustee?
No,
All right.
this just continues, and it's a privilege offered to our residents for recycling, and I hope that a few don't ruin it for the rest. So cameras are up. We're watching you. Cameras are now going to be angled so that we can see your license plate, and you will be warned, correct, Chief? Okay.
We appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Report from the fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
As far as significant transactions, this last meeting, we did receive a tax advance from the county of $460,000. And also, I've been in talks with Huntington Bank, and they have provided us with some other investment options. And currently, in our current savings account that we have with them, we earn about half of 1%. And they have advised me of some commercial paper options where we can earn up to 1%. So this week, I did transfer $1 million to an account where we will be investing in commercial paper with a 9-month maturity date, and also another $1 million with a 6-month maturity. So it'll just go from our one investment account into another.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Public hearings, none tonight, Chief? No public hearings. Okay. Reports from departments. I don't have any on record. So, Mr. Luby, if we can have the reading of the resolutions, please.
Resolution 2017-004, Resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the Township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-005, resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 5284 Serenade Drive to the County Auditor for assessment and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of dispensing with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-006, resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 5472 Rapid Run Road to the County Auditor for assessment and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-007, resolution accepting and authorizing the interim administrator to execute necessary documents to accept change orders with Turner Construction related to the new Greenwell Avenue Fire Station project and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Chief Campbell?
Thank you, trustees. What you have before you are three owner change orders that are occurring that are basically, we signed a guaranteed maximum price contract, and these are three change orders on behalf of the township that have requested the changes that are outside that contract. So what this represents are the fees that are associated with those changes with the construction contract. So this is outside the GMP that's already stated. One is the overhead door color. One is the louver for the Plymouth vent exhaust system. And last but not least, the signage that's on the front of the building. Those were not pointed out particularly in the contract with Turner when we signed all the documents for the construction. How this happens is a good example would be with our exhaust systems company. They're a separate vendor. The township's paying them directly to do service work. So they sit down, they meet with myself and representatives of the township. As a vendor, they say, this is what we do. This is the scope of what we do when we're in your building setting this system up. What Turner then does is they have their scope of work that they do as well. We have a gap in what has to be done. So in order to fulfill that gap, in the construction gap, the township has to kind of take on that work. And this is what's represented in this change order. So when you have the doors installed and it's not caught that the colors that were selected by the design firm were actually a markup color and the doors are already in, it'd be say, okay, well, that's not our fault. They just went with the right colors. We can't go back on that because the stock colors that they do have, which they missed the boat, do not match what was said in the design plan. So there's some things that just, it's typically, it's hard to catch these things when you're constantly value engineering the project. So these are just small gaps in that service. So what they've done is they provided us every 2 weeks when we meet with Turner regarding construction details and things. We've been getting full reports on the contingencies. So we have an owner contingency, which the township never originally set up a budget contingency. We don't have like this dream fund that we've got sitting out for a wish list or anything like that. We signed that GMP, that's the price, that's the maximum price for the construction project. But they identify all these change orders that come down and they put them aside as an owner contingency. They also have what's going on is their GMP buyout. So when they have a contractor that finishes work under the price that they estimated, there's a savings. And then they kick that into contingency as well. And that's basically what they're doing, their construction contingency. Right now, we're looking at a savings of about $19,000 overall on the project. So it's pretty good where we're at, but we still have a lot to work on. Being conservative in the fact that we want to make sure that we would really love to have savings at the end of this, because both Turner and the township share in the profit of savings. If they come below that GMP, that's something that we both get. If that doesn't occur, we still only pay the maximum price for the construction. That's why we decided to go with design build. So these three elements, Turner is pointing out to us as owners. We requested the change. It's out their scope of process, or outside their scope of construction, and it doesn't meet the GMP document. They would like to be paid separately outside that GMP price for these change orders. We're on the hook for them. I don't think there's any contention that we did request these changes, because if it doesn't get done, basically you have one entity creating a piece of ductwork that stops here and then the outside of the building. There's nothing in between. We can't have that in normal construction. So we do have to make up the gap. These are small items. What they've pointed out to date, we just did 2 walkthroughs with the rough-in. So if you go into the building now, there's drywall up, insulation. It's starting to come all together. We did our final walkthroughs to make sure the plugs were in the right places, the switches were the right switches, those type of things. So there were some modifications that we did there that just didn't work. You can't tell on a plan, but when you physically walk through, you can see it. All in all, it looks like the township's looking at a contingency, which would be things that we're on the hook for changes of $5,000. So, I mean, in a $3.6 million project, they've identified these three things, and then they've got one quote that's on hold for $2,500. That's for the electrical rough-in that I just mentioned. But all together, what they're saying is, Delhi Township, you've requested these changes in our construction project. It's outside our scope. $5,000 is what we're looking to pay. So here we are today. We have a $19,000 contingency. They're hoping that goes all the way to the end of construction. There's no guarantee that it will. I spoke with the project manager today, and kind of the question I had is, do we have to pay this now when we have this contingency? Why can't we just take it out of the contingency? So this is my follow-up question to him. There is a possibility to do that, but that's just not how Turner has done business in the past. Typically, you've had the entities they have worked with have built these contingency funds and just basically drawn on those. So the question therein lies is, what they want more than anything is assurance that we're good for this money, these change orders that we're responsible for, that we're good to pay those. And I think what they're looking for is assurance from the board in doing that if the board decides not to encumber these funds right now and pay these bills. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Any questions, Ms. Seavey?
What we have is a $19,000 contingency fund to cover any possible overruns. Contribution to that fund can be things like the windows were forecasted to be 10,000 and they came in at 7. Well, 3,000 goes to a contingency fund because that's what we've saved. And during this interim time, I've been at these construction meetings, and it's all detailed. It's all right down to the line on everything that we're spending, on how much and where it's going. And I feel this way: if we have 19,000 in contingency at the end of January, okay, and I would rather take right now what they need for our change orders from that contingency, because we don't know what's going to happen between now and the end, that we're not going to put more money back into the contingency. And to think that we wouldn't be good for it, what do they think we're going to do? Tell them to take their fire station back? I mean, of course we're going to be good for it. I just feel that rather than go through the process of appropriating $5,000 to do this when there's available funds that are already sitting there for the fire station, that we use it, and that we, whatever kind of guarantee they would want on finishing this. I mean, the three things that you've outlined. Number one, the color on the doors. It was our goal to make the fire station blend with the residential area as best we could. And the architects, I think, have done a really great job at doing that if you've been by and seen the construction. So the color of the doors is complementary to the community. So the fact that, I'm good at this, picking the most expensive color that there was, it happened, okay? But it looks great. The second thing about the exhaust, that's a safety issue. There is no choice in that. We cannot have bad fumes escaping into the station because it's not connected to the evacuation hose. That's we have to do that. And then your third one was the lights on the naming of the station. And, we've kind of gone back and forth with this. There's this lit on Neeb and not on Rapid Run. Is that correct?
Rapid Run is not identified on the building. The Neeb Road Station is.
Right.
And the recommendation for this construction would be the name of the fire station and lit.
And lit. I think the Rapid Run, Doug, has a little different feel to it because it's connected to the school district building. So that not being openly identified or illuminated, to me, doesn't really make any difference. But I think this Greenwell station being the busiest, it needs to be identified as Delhi Township Fire Station. So there's the three expenses. The question is $5,000. If you look at the overall piece based on the total expense of the fire station, it's not a lot. I say use the available funds in the contingency, and at the end, we'll settle and hope that there's other contributions to the contingency fund in the meantime.
So Doug, basically this means we have to keep track of of items that we take out of that contingency that they think are above and beyond, and then they'll get their 50%.
This is basically what has been reported on every 2 weeks when we meet with Turner. They've been fantastic to work with. They provide us all the documentation. We track it. It's an open forum. So certainly they've been great partners all along. It's just, I guess, from our getting them to understand the government side of things as a customer, and us trying to understand where they're at as a general contractor and trying to share that mutual agreement on it. But really, I think what it boils down to is the assurance that we, A, recognize these are changes that we caused, and two, we're good to pay them. I mean, they're not suggesting that we're not, but essentially, if you choose not to go ahead and pay it tonight based on what they've provided, that's the option they're looking for, is some kind of dialogue with them saying, you realize these are changes that you're due, and they're not in the scope of the construction documents.
Okay. Any comments, Trustee Oswald?
No.
All right. Any more questions?
Well, the resolution reads to accept the change order. It doesn't really accept how we're going to pay for it, how we're going to treat it.
That's what I wanted to address. If
Okay.
one way or another, as your board knows, if you're incurring an obligation, it has to either be appropriated previously or now, because Jim, as a fiscal officer, has to sign the fund certification there. So if you're saying it's part of the 3.6 that we've already budgeted, then you'll certify those funds out of there. If it's 3.6 plus 5,000, then you're going to have to appropriate the funds.
Doesn't it come down to Turner as far as which way they require us to pay for it? I mean, if they allow us to take it out of the contingency now.
But, I mean, you're right, though, as I understand, we're taking out,
Our own money.
all of our half.
Portion of our half.
But theirs isn't going to be reduced by that, because that's really not the the idea or the function of that contingency fund. I'm okay so long as one way or the other we have funds appropriated if you're accepting these change orders. That's all.
So do we need to change the way the resolution states?
Well, I don't think there's any argument that we're going to accept the change order.
Correct.
So I think we're okay to accept the resolution as it stands.
It's just a matter of if you have funds already appropriated to support this, that's all.
And they,
Which sounds like we don't, unless we use part of the contingency.
Unless you use part of that contingency fund.
which can be done with direct communication to them through, it basically said an email, a letter indicating that we wanted those funds taken out of contingency first.
Let's do that if they'll allow us to do that, and then the resolution will be fine as it stands.
Okay.
And then you'll certify with previously appropriated funds, not new funds. Okay.
Are we good?
Mhm.
Are we good? All right.
All right. I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-008, resolution entering into an employment agreement with John A. Cameron III as Township Administrator and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please, quick call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Congratulations.
You're hired. Thank you. For anybody who doesn't know, our new administrator, Jack Cameron, would you like to come up?
Well, first of all, thank you. I'm honored and looking forward to getting started. I am disappointed that I thought everybody was here for this resolution, but apparently they weren't. But that was a good way to start. So
Good.
I guess most importantly, I'm just looking forward to getting started.
We're anxious for you to get here, so thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
And your first official day is February the
6th.
6th. Okay.
You'll
And
be
I
here
go-
for the next meeting.
I know you know this, but I go by Jack for all those who heard the John part.
Right.
So Jack's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Looking forward to it. All right. Citizen comments. We have no citizens signed in, correct? Okay, good. Announcement of community events, Mr. Luby?
The Delhi Historical Society program, Fading Arts of Cincinnati, will be Monday, February 13th. It will be at 7 p.m. at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Branch Library program, Fun with Foam, Create Your Own Doorknob Hanger, will be Tuesday, February 21st at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road. The Delhi Township Fire Department 12th Annual Bowling Party and Benefit will be Sunday, March 5th. Registration and practice will be at 12 noon, and the bowling will be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It will be at the Western Bowl at 6383 Glenway Avenue.
All right,
Any
thank you.
announcements?
Okay. We do have a need for executive session tonight. If we can have the motion, Mr. Luby?
Motion 2017-028 to retire to executive session to consider the employment of public employees.
I move motion 2017-028 to retire to executive session to consider the employment of public employees.
I second the motion to retire to executive session to consider the employment of public employees.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Okay, that's the end of the business meeting tonight. Hope to see you back here. Our next meeting is Wednesday, February 8th at 6 o'clock. Thank you, and beware of the dreaded snow that's coming.
Congratulations, buddy. Thank you. Thanks for all your help.
Okay.